Playoff baseball is basically here, and tensions flared in the Mariners and Astros game. J-Rod, he was going up against an Astros relief pitcher. It was kind of random, but I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. Ronald Acuña Jr., he created a whole new club of stats, and honestly, it could be a one-of-one season. 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases. That might never happen again. Aaron Judge, he squared up 2 more baseballs for 2 more home runs, and the umpires, man, there was a clown show down in the Marlins and Mets game. How did he call that a strike, and then why did he throw him out? All of that in today's MLB Recap, and just a reminder, Recap is presented by SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off on tickets, and also use code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy. New users, they get access to a 1-yard Jared Goff pick that is happening later today, so don't miss out. Cubs fans have been punching a lot of air lately because they're kind of watching their team implode right before their very own eyes. Now, it's not going to get any easier because, again, they're still facing Ronald and his friends. Ozzie Albies, he's a second baseman with 33 home runs and 105 RBIs. Just wanted to throw that out there. Now, the Cubs did get home runs from Mike Tauchman and Ian Happ, so the Cubs are back out in front, but an error from Chicago allowed a second run to score, and then Albies, he ties it at 3-3 with an RBI single in the 8th inning. Now, both teams, they traded runs in the 9th. You had Yan Gomes with an RBI single, and then Ozuna, he clutched up. He ties it on his 37th home run, which set up these moments right here. Ronald, he tied it after the Cubs got 1 on a sac fly, so he ties it, and then immediately he stole his second base of the game. He has 70 stolen bases. He creates a whole new tier of power speed, 41 home runs, 70 stolen bases, and on top of that, he's hitting .335 with a .414 on base percentage. Like, honestly, if he even played average defense, he could have had a 10 or 11 WAR season. Not even joking. This might be a top 5 offensive season ever. Albies, he walked it off. He brings in Ronald Acuña Jr. And can I just say to all of the Ronald Acuña Jr. haters out there, Ricky Henderson would have stolen 150 bags in today's era because of the bigger bags and the pitching timer rules. Ricky Henderson was facing guys who had a leg kick up to their eyebrows and were throwing 89 miles an hour. Can we just respect greatness? Ricky Henderson, an all-time legend. Ronald Acuña Jr. becoming an all-time base-stealing legend. Different eras have different advantages. Stop hating. Here we go. The Astros and the Mariners, they are both locked in a tight race for the wild card right now, but Houston, they're still trying to catch up to the Rangers for that first place spot in the AL West. Now, we'll talk about the Rangers after this one, but J.P. Crawford, as you just saw. Then Yordan Alvarez and Mauricio Dubon said, F your feelings. Yordan now has 31 home runs. Dubon, his 3-run laser basically ended this game. Now, I know Eugenio Suarez, he got them back within 1 run, but those 3 runs were all that the M's could muster in this one. Now, we had some drama later on in the 6th when Hector Neris, he struck out J-Rod. He basically sprinted off the mound and yelled some profanities at J-Rod. Now, we have some conflicting stories about what was said, but then Hector, he kind of ran away. There's a lot of fake tough guys in sports. I'm taking J-Rod in that scrap all day long. The Astros kind of poured it on and got the last laugh after that. They had some RBI singles from Tucker, Abreu. I think Brantley had a double or Abreu had a double. I can't remember, but they ran it up to a 7th spot, and then Maldonado made it 8 on his 15th home run. The Mariners season, it's looking pretty grim right now. Now it's up to the Rangers to try and do their thing against the Halos, and yeah, of course, they easily won because Adolis had an RBI double, and then he had a solo home run in the 3rd. He's got 38 home runs and 106 RBIs. A massive tip of the cap to Dane Dunning. He has all but saved the Rangers this year because DeGrom went down, Scherzer went down. Out of nowhere, he shoved in the first half. He kind of had a snag in the second half, but he locked in yesterday. 7 punch-outs over 7 scoreless innings. He only allowed 3 base hits the entire night. He also only walked 1 hitter. Rookie Evan Carter, look at this kid. 5 home runs and 12 RBIs with 10 walks in his first 19 games because he doesn't chase at bad pitches. Marcus Semien, I'm not saying that he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but he has the most home runs by a second baseman ever. He had 45 back in 2021. He plays Gold Glove defense. He's great on the bases. Like, even if he doesn't make it, Marcus Semien, he's well on his way to having a 50 or 60 WAR for his career when it's all said and done. The Rangers stayed 2.5 games ahead of the Astros, and the Mariners, their only hope now is the wild card. They're 1.5 games back of Houston for that final wild card spot. They need the Astros or the Jays to basically collapse. Now, the Giants, their season's already over. They've been eliminated, so they're trying to be jerks and spoil it for the Padres. They basically said, if you're going to knock us out, we're going to try and knock you out. Tyro Estrada, he's got 14 home runs, and Sean Manaea, his team gave him the lead back in the 5th inning, and Sean was cruising through 7 innings of one. Okay, it's tied again. The lefty masher Garrett Cooper, that's why they acquired him. He made it a brand new ball game, and this game is going to need extras, which is terrible news for San Diego fans because the Padres are winless in extra inning games this year. I think they're 0 for 11 or 0 for 12. Xander, he had a sac fly, and Manny, he clutched all the way up for a massive 2-run double. The Padres, they finally win a game in extra innings. I cannot believe that they were 0-12 coming into this one. Now, even though the Padres won, San Diego, they can still get bounced if the Marlins, with both games right here in this doubleheader. So Padre fans, they got their Pete Alonso jerseys on, who went yard, a 2-run home run for his 46th home run. Francisco Lindor, he grabbed a 2-run home run, his 28th, so he is 2 home runs away from a 30-30 season. And look at rookie Mark Vientos. He is mashing his way into more playing time in 2024. He has 5 home runs over his last 15 games. Speaking of getting plenty more playing time in 2024, Joey LaCasey, he lowers his ERA to 2.89. He's been pretty good this year for them. Lindor, he played 2 more to secure a 4 RBI day, and Brandon Nimmo, he ended it with a 2-run double. The Mets, they beat up the Marlins in game number 1, so the Padres are still in it. Oh, actually, also, I forgot to mention that San Diego will be knocked out if the Reds win, so we'll talk about the Reds game after this one, because this game still matters for Miami. They can actually get even with the Cubs if they pull out a W, and as you just saw, John Birdie, another home run. He has 4 home runs over the last week. Lindor, he matched him with a solo home run. He's 1 away from 30-30 now. Jesus Sanchez, I call him the man who rakes. He came up huge with his 14th home run, but there it is. Lindor, he joins the 30-30 club, which doesn't sound as fun after hearing Ronald go 40-70, but for a defensive wizard shortstop to go 30-30, I mean, that is absolutely insane. One more thing that is insane and just completely disgusting, Kodai Senga. I know he's like 30 years old, but he's still having one of the better rookie seasons by a starting pitcher ever. He finishes 2023 with a 2.98 ERA and 202 strikeouts and 166 innings. He was New York's ace all year long. Not Scherzer, not Justin Verlander, Kodai Senga, the rookie. This game was tied 2-2 when Miami savior Jake Berger stepped in with the bases loaded, and he got absolutely hosed. Not only was that pitch 7 feet outside, but you got to read the room umpire. The Marlins are fighting for a playoff spot, so of course he's going to be upset and throw some stuff. Like, that's just awful, and yet again it raises the question, should robot umpires be in baseball? Now the Marlins, they did end up winning this game because there was an error later on. There was an RBI single from Brian De La Cruz, and Andrew Nardi struck out 2 for the save. So what does all of that mean? The Marlins and the Cubs are now tied for the final wild card spot in the NL, but if they stay tied, Miami, they will make the playoffs over the Cubs because they've beaten the Cubs more often this year. This Reds and Guardians game has a ton on the line as well. The Reds, they're trying to stay a half game back with the wild card, and this is Terry Francona's final game at home with the Guardians. Tyler Freeman and Brian Rocchio, they drove in a few on some RBI singles, and look at Josh Naylor doing the same thing. Josh is up to 97 RBIs. Luis Tena, he had an RBI single for the 4th run. This game was honestly super encouraging for 2024. Now, we didn't score 7. I say we because I'm a Guardians fan, but I love that Freeman and Rocchio are both getting reps. Naylor's healthy, and so is Shane Bieber. Biebs, he finally locked in and looked healthy. He completely shut down the Reds offense. Okay, he gave up 1 on a single to TJ Friedl, but Friedl has been playing like prime Ken Griffey Jr. in September, so not a big deal. Biebs, he struck out 7, only allowed 5 base hits. That 4th run ended up being vital because Trevor Stephan, he forgot his job again. Like, he has a 6 ERA over his last 30 games. The point of a relief pitcher is to be a relief to your team, not the other team. Emmanuel Clase came in and he closed it for his 43rd save of the season. That is a bad loss for the Reds. So Terry Francona, he gets one last win in Cleveland. A cool moment. I'm super happy for him. But I will say it was definitely time to move on. Terry Francona has not been good in 2023. Still love the guy. Thanks for everything, but yeah, time to move on. So we just saw the Reds loss. What about the Diamondbacks and the White Sox? Super easy game to recap because not much happened. The NL Rookie of the Year frontrunner Corbin Carroll, he's gonna win it. He laced a 2-run double. And then trade deadline acquisition Tommy Pham added 1 more, which ended up being the game's final run for both teams because Brandon Pfaadt, the rookie, it's spelled fat. I know it's spelled fat, but it's pronounced Pfaadt. I promise you guys, I'm not lying. He dominated the White Sox. He struck out 8 on 87 pitches. 63 of those pitches were for strikes. He was amazing yesterday. Paul Sewald, he has 34 saves on the year after striking out 2. So the Diamondbacks, they're 2 games ahead for that 2nd place wildcard spot. So the full update, Miami and Chicago, they are tied for the final wildcard spot. Miami, they would get in if they stay tied because of the in-season series. The Reds, they fall to 1.5 games back, and the Padres, they're still fighting at 3.5 games back, but they have to win out. There's no other option for them. And I just say that Josh Lowe is having one of the most underappreciated seasons I've ever seen. Like, no one's really talking about this guy. He's hitting 290 with 20 home runs now, 32 stolen bases, and a stupid 130 WRC plus. Tyler Glasnow, he took over after that. Now, he only went 70 pitches because this was basically a tune-up for October. Tyler, he looked like the best pitcher in baseball yesterday, like a righty version of Blake Snell minus the walks, because he went 5 shutout, only 2 base hits, 9 strikeouts on 70 pitches. How is that even possible? Glasnow now has 162 strikeouts in 120 innings, which is mind-boggling. Isaac Paredes, he doesn't get talked about much either, but he's up to 31 home runs and 97 RBIs. The Rays, they steal everyone. They got Randy from St. Louis, Yandy and Junior Caminero from the Guardians, Paredes from Detroit, only because they got Glasnow and Meadows from Pittsburgh, and then they turned Meadows into Isaac Paredes. Do not make trades with the Rays. Can Tampa Bay gain some ground on the Orioles? Of course they can't, because Adley and his boys, they are facing off against the Nationals. Adley, he now has 20 home runs. The kid is unreal. Like, he's quickly becoming one of the best first overall picks ever. He's up there with Bryce Harper, Ken Griffey Jr., and others, like franchise-altering players. He started another rally in the 5th on an RBI single, and starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, he is turning into the ace. I love Kyle Bradish, but Grayson, he has a higher ceiling than Kyle Bradish. He's been dealing since being recalled from the minors. He has a 2.18 ERA over his last 11 starts. He throws 100 with a great slider. I don't know how hitters even make contact with some of these pitchers. Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, that is it. That is all you have to hear for this next game. Moving on. Okay, no, seriously. All jokes aside, Garrett Cole, he was on the bump, and Aaron Judge, he got it going. New York is nearly unbeatable when that combination happens. You have Judge with 36 home runs. He's going to hit 37 in just a second, but I have to show Stanton, who's been awful for pretty much 2 consecutive seasons. This year, he's hitting 191 with a 275 on base percentage. The fall from grace is really sad to watch. Judge, he tacked on 2 more with his 37th home run. He has 37 home runs and 357 at-bats. That's 1 home run every 9.6 at-bats. That is historic. Garrett Cole, I mean, he left no stones unturned. He is going to win his first Cy Young, no question about it. He tossed a complete game shutout 2-hitter. He is now 15-4 with a 2.63 ERA and 222 strikeouts. All of the awards have been set, by the way. You have Ohtani, Cole, and Henderson as the AL MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year. In the NL, it's going to be Ronald, Blake Snell, and Corbin Carroll. So there you go. Philly might have been a little bit sore. I'm going to put sore in air quotes after they were celebrating last night after their playoff berth. Yeah, they went down 5-zip, and then they woke up. They said, hey, we still have some baseball to play. Garrett Stubbs, he got them right back into it. That's a 3-run home run, and Mundo Sosa, he tagged one. He's got 10 home runs now, and that Christian Pache RBI single, he ties it, which set up this moment right here. I know we just teleported to the 10th inning, but I promise you guys it's worth it, because when stuff like this happens, the 2-timer going 430 feet lefty. He's basically hitting 300 with 21 home runs. He has an insane 402 on base percentage, and that's because he's walking almost 15% of the time. Gregory Soto, I forgot that he was even on the Phillies. He struck out 3, and there you go. The Phillies, they make the comeback. They beat the Pirates 7-6. One man won this game for the Brewers. I hate to skip a bunch, but this game didn't really offer a ton of action. Tyrone Taylor, he ripped 2 RBI doubles, and the second one put his team up 3-2. Devin Williams, I guess we'll talk about this real quick. Devin Williams, he got the final out. He has 36 saves and a stupid 1.56 ERA. Let me know in the comments down below, who is the best closing pitcher in baseball? For me, it's got to be Devin Williams. Rookies James Outman and Emmett Sheehan had a fun night down in Coors Field. Outman, he's got 23 home runs. This kid is really good. And then Emmett Sheehan, he was nasty. Yes, he gave up 2 runs, but he also struck out 10 Rockies on 84 pitches. He also didn't walk anyone. That is a start you love to see from a rookie. He went after hitters. Now, if they score, fine, let them be solo home runs. Colorado starting pitcher Nick Mears, I guess he didn't get the memo. He allowed a 3-run home run to the future Hall of Famer Freddie Freeman. Yes, guys like Freddie Freeman, Bryce Harper, they have all but cemented their Hall of Fame cases this year. Mookie Betts. Freddie has a career high. He passed his MVP season and last year with a 7.7 F-WAR. Oh, and at 33 years old, he set a career high with 23 stolen bases. Make Freddie Freeman make sense. The A's put up a fight in this one against the Twins. Just Minnesota, they're playing way too well lately. By the way, that was rookie Edward Julian's 15th home run. And again, the A's scored a bunch to make it interesting, but this Ryan Jeffers dude does not miss. He's got 13 home runs and a whopping 135 WRC plus. Pinch hitter Trevor Larnach, he completed the comeback with an RBI double. And then Griffin Jax, he struck out the final hitter for the save. Minnesota, they've won 3 games in a row. They have the 4th best record in the second half. If Correa and Royce Lewis come back healthy, Minnesota, they could shock some people because they don't have to face the Yankees in the playoffs. They can't beat the Yankees in October, but you don't have to worry about that anymore. We're going to put a challenge on today's Immaculate Grid. If I don't do this in under 1 minute, I have to give away a PlayStation 5 to one of you guys. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. The Twins and the Reds, that is Farmer. Kyle Farmer is an easy one. So we have Kyle Farmer. That's not the A's. The Braves and the Reds, that is Adam Duvall. I am typing very slow today. My brain is not working. 200 strikeouts for, we have Sonny Gray. I don't know if Hunter Green got to 200. We have a Gallo. My friend Joey Gallo was on both the Twins and the Rangers. A Brave and a Ranger. Grossman. Come on, man. Speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. 200 strikeout. CJ Wilson back in the day. I know for a fact. That's why he got all that money from the Angels, the Twins, and the Angels. Eduardo Escobar. Where's he at? Eduardo Escobar. Could have gone Dylan Bundy. Braves and the Angels. Braves and the Angels. Braves and the Angels. Rizal Iglesias. Here we go. I could have gone Justin Upton as well. 200 strikeout season for the Ohtani. That was quick. I don't have to give away PlayStation 5, I don't think. 120 Raiders score isn't bad either. Before we end today's recap, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to me. This has been a really fun 2023 season. You guys rock. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek and Underdog Fantasy, and I'll catch you in the next one.